Oh, wow, here we are. We are live with Jeremy Springer, the special teams coordinator of the New England Patriots. Jeremy Springer, thank you so much for joining us. Can I ask you, is this the pinnacle of your career coming on TopstepTV? I have to ask.
Man, it is. I ain't gonna lie. I haven't been to Super Bowl yet, but I've never been on a day trading site, and I'm excited to just be on here talking to people that aren't really in my realm of work per se, but it's still fun to get to talk to other people.
Awesome. That is true. Yes. Oh, okay. So here in trading, we compete, right?
Mhm.
Discipline, motivation, consistency, grinding, and I'm sure you're looking for the same. The New England Patriots. What is it like working with the best of the best of the best? And what are some of those characteristics and traits that you see that make them your kind of guy, our kind of guy? What does that mean exactly? And what do you look for?
Yeah, I think when you're looking at the top of the top, the best of the best, we just had our draft, so we were picking guys in the first round, second round. Overall, it's the consistency of what they
Hmm.
do, right? Consistency is by far the biggest thing. When you look at our head coaches, I've been around Sean McVay, now Mike Vrabel. I've been around some really good players like Matthew Stafford, right? And those guys all have one trait. They're very consistent at what they do every day. They're
Okay.
going to come and show up at the same time. They're going to have a routine, and they're going to be very diligent on that routine. The players that we look for, like the Will Campbell that we got in the first round, the Travion
Mhm.
Henderson that we got in the second round, those guys for 4 years, they were consistently really, really good at what they did. That's first and foremost of what we look for. And then after that, it's like, as an organization, what are we looking for off the field, right? What kind of things what is he doing in the community? What is he doing around his teammates? How is he with his family? How is he with the president of the university and things like that? And that all kind of formulates an idea of what we want and how we're going to bring that guy on board him and go from there.
How do you know if they are not your guy? Are there any red flags that you look for specifically? Obviously, they're all amazing at what they do in their profession. And here in trading, sometimes it's just about P&L, profit and losses. If you make money or lose money, I guess is the bottom line. But there's more to it. And same dealing with professional athletes. How do you know if they're not your kind of guy? Like, what exactly? Is there any telltale traits?
Yeah, I think again, I think it always fits on what your organization is looking for. Like, what are you as an organization? For us, what are we looking for? Guys that are really good off the field. If they're guys that are
Uh-huh.
not doing stuff in the community, guys that are not doing stuff with the university, that's always kind of a backwards deal. If they're a guy that's maybe late to meetings or a guy that doesn't show up to their training room or doesn't eat right, doesn't take care of nutrition, those are
Mhm.
all red flags for us. And he might be the best of what he does, but you can tell by those things right there that maybe a 10-year veteran he might not be able to sustain at this level, because at this level they're all really good at football. I
Right.
mean, they're all really, really good. But what are they doing off the field consistently? Again, the consistency part of it, to be able to translate that into a 10 to 15, 12, 13-year career. Those are the guys that we're trying to find right there at the end of the day.
So basically, it's longevity. Longevity is the name of the game in the NFL and professional athletics, and same here in trading. Looking for those that can consistently do it. They wake up at the same time, same diet, same regimen. They bring the juice, Jeremy. What does it mean to bring the juice?
Hey man, I'm gonna tell you one thing with our guys.
Hit me.
With professional athletes, they are always looking for an edge. Okay, that's
Yep.
first and foremost. But if I'm preaching consistency, if I'm preaching, being disciplined and doing certain things right, I'm not detailed in what I do, our guys aren't going to trust me. And I can do it. I can show up 50 times. And on that 51st time, I come with low energy. I come with a bad plan. I'm not organized. I'm not structured. They're gonna seek me out, and then they're not gonna trust me after that.
Hmm.
So for me, it's very important that I show up the same way every day. I prepare the same way every day. My meetings are detailed. Okay, they're concise. Okay, they're direct. They're able to really tell me what I'm telling them, and then bring it back to me. Those things right there have to be important. And then, like, when we're in the cafeteria, am I connecting with our guys? Like, I want to inspire them. In order to inspire them, I got to connect with them. So all those things right there are very important for me to kind of bring that energy and juice every day for my guys to feel loved, feel wanted, and want to build connections throughout the time they're with me.
Amazing stuff. Okay, so if you're bringing the juice day in and day out, what if one of your players isn't necessarily bringing the juice? Is that okay? Some people, I mean, everyone has an
Yeah.
off day. How do you deal with that? Because sometimes in trading, we suffer losses, right? We're losing, five, 10,000 bucks in real money, and it may be hard to bring the juice the following day. So here at Top Step, obviously, we're looking for trading talent. If one of your players is, not bringing the juice that day because they're having an off day, what do you do? What can we do to help the trader or the player bring that juice?
That's a very good question because again, it's I think you can definitely relate that to us. You know, we had a poor season last year. We went 4-13, right? So you're
Mhm.
losing games. The media's all over our back. You're going to get fired, this and that. So it's hard to come in. It's easy to come in when you're winning, as you guys know. When you're
Easy,
winning, you're on top. It's easy, bro. Like
no
it's all
problem.
good.
Yep.
But that's what we're building right now is connection. And the connection part of it, me understanding what Tom, what he likes, how he gets motivated versus Javon, what he likes
Sure.
to get motivated from, building those connections right now so that when we get into training camp, when we get into the season, and this guy's having a low or he's having a dip in his performance, how
Right.
can I reel him back in? I'm okay if he has a bad day. Mistakes are mistakes, failures are failures. I invite that. I'm the same way. I don't mind failing. You learn from it. But when
Right.
they're having those days, having those times, we're in those ruts, I think having the connection part is vital to them for them to be able to trust you and to be able to move on and trust what you're saying is right, and so that they can feel better moving forward and better into the future. The connection's everything.
The connection. How do you get that connection? You get to know them on a personal level, their family,
Personal level,
where they're from, their
everything.
upbringing. What is so? How can we connect? Give me some tips on how we can connect outside of just snap the ball, run block, pass things like that, so they do gain the trust. Because here at TopStep, they need to gain the trust in the markets, in the firm, in the coaches as well. It's more than just buying low and selling high. So how do you actually get that connection? How can we get our connection with the traders like that? What do you do?
You just said it. You just said it. Like this is what as I've gotten older in my career and been around some really good coaches and really good players. It's not always about football. So I try to find time. I don't try. I do find time.
Okay.
Like we have our cafeteria, which is I'm in my office is like right there. Meeting
Yeah.
room's right behind me.
Okay.
So instead of going in the cafeteria and sitting down and talking running back play with our running back or talking about special pump protection, I want to talk about his family. Like,
Mhm.
hey, what's up, man? What's going on with your wife? What's going on? What's going on back in? And through those conversations, through time, when they come in my office, like, let's not talk about football right now. We can talk about that a lot, but let's talk about what's going on in your life. And those connections that I build right now, that's what the off-season phase is for, from now until the middle of June before we get into training camp. You build those connections now so that they trust you. So when you are trying to get them out of a rut, when you are trying to tell them everything's going to be okay, they trust you because it's not just about football. It's about life outside of football. And I think that's where I've kind of grown over the years. And now working in the NFL, it's still the same thing. High level guys,
Sure.
you can say one thing, like, oh, they're all, money driven, they're all this and that. At the end of the day, it's about relationships and connections. And when you have that, you can really build trust around the organization. They build trust in you, even when the times are high and the times are low.
So they're not all money driven. Okay, but at the end of the day, isn't it all about wins and losses? Winning's everything, right? Well, if you guys are winning and you see them getting comfortable, because here in the markets, winning takes care of itself, right? But sometimes you get complacent. So sometimes you get comfortable, you start feeling yourself. You got to make sure that everyone's still sitting up straight, right? In those meetings, you're still eating right and things like that. Do you is it do you hate losing more than you like winning? Is that how it is? Or what
It's
you know what I'm saying?
it's not even about that. Like, yeah, winning
Okay.
is the name of the game. Like, in order to sustain in this profession, you have to win consistently. Plain and simple. That's why coaching and that's why being a player is hard in this profession because when you're losing a lot, usually guys get fired, guys get traded, things like that. But the culture and what you set from day one has to continue to be the same whether you're 5-0 or you're 0-5. The culture, the culture, the culture. What we're doing on a daily basis. Like for us, we have a team identity. We have four things that we talk about: effort
Hit
and
me.
finish. Okay, effort and finish is number one. That's a non-negotiable.
Okay.
We're ball disruption or ball security. So ball disruption is on defense we're playing violent to the ball. On offense we're taking care of the ball. Right. The third thing is our details, technique, and fundamentals, and our fourth thing is making great decisions on and off the field. So those four things don't change. They don't change in the special teams room. They don't change in the offensive room, the defensive room. Those four things got to stay consistent from day one to day 500 because it's always easy day one. It's always easy, like I said, when you're 3-0. But if those things aren't being upheld early on, then they're really going to become a factor when you're 0-5 and everyone's talking different coaching points, different identities, and now we're not cohesive. We're not working
Sure.
together. We gotta be consistent on our identity and what we're preaching day to day.
I guess, like you said, the easy time, the winning takes care of itself. It's the tough times where that consistency can be broken, and those four pillars, if you will, can be shaken. What? I got to ask you, what does it look like in a locker room if the team is 0-5? I don't know if you ever have been 0-5 when people are pointing the finger. Sometimes in the markets, you point the finger at perhaps the market, the technology, when indeed it is yourself that needs to look in the mirror. What does that look like in the locker room when times are tough? You're in the gutter and you get picked back up. How do you do that? What is it? Yeah. Does it get like,
Yeah, I think
is it
there's
intense?
two different. There's two. I've been in both. I've been in a 5-0 locker room. I've been 0-5 locker room. I've been losing seasons and winning seasons. And I'm telling you, the overall difference is the culture. And at the end of
Yeah,
the
it's
day, it's
culture,
like
culture.
it's culture, 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 and what the guys we brought into the building, were they consistent in what we were bringing in, or they were just guys that were bad off the field? Were they not making great decisions? Were they guys that they slipped and we let them slip? Like they came to meeting late and we didn't find them, right? So
Mm,
like it's everyone's standards got to be the same. It can't just be, hey, Stephon Diggs cannot come to any meetings, and Drake May doesn't have to come, but the third string running back's got to be at everything, right? Everyone's got to be held to the same standard. And the teams that have been on 0-5 in bad locker rooms after a loss, they go their separate ways. All right. The
mm.
winning teams were connected, man. Like it's a connection. We're all here for the same reasons. No one's like, hey, I need to have this game. We're all like, I had the best game I can have for my teammates. And when we have that, you have that cohesion. Usually good things happen.
Culture, culture, culture. Does that start all the way at the top with Mr. Kraft? Is that
100,
where it comes
it
from?
starts. Ownership hires a guy to set the culture. So ownership is ownership, because again, ownership is not always around. They're dealing with, they're multi-billionaires, right? So those guys are not always around. The head coach sets the foundation and upholds this foundation, sets the culture, upholds the culture, gives it to us. We got to help him uphold it, and then we got to bring the right guys in so that we're consistent there.
I guess that's exactly
It's
what we're
not
doing
easy to
next.
do. That's why
It's
every year is
not.
different, right?
It's
It's not. It's
not
very hard.
easy. And I want to ask you about that because actually, your boss, Coach Vrabel, you were with the previous regime, Mayo, correct?
Yeah.
And
Yes, I was.
you stayed on board. And
Mhm.
what was that like? Are you indeed, I guess, Coach Vrabel's kind of guy? Why do you think that you were retained from between two coaches? 'Cause that's quite rare for those that are might not be familiar. That's pretty rare in the industry, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was retained. I'm very fortunate and grateful for that. I'm learning. I'm going through it right now. Going
Sure.
through practice right now. We're in phase 2 with our players, and to go through practice right now and trying to figure out what Vrabel likes, what he doesn't like, trying to uphold
Oh,
the standard that he wants in my meetings, to uphold the standards he wants on the practice field. It's a whole new system compared to the last previous coach, or even Sean McVay, or even some of the college head coaches I was before that. And again, what Vrabel's done so far, I mean, I just tell you right now, like he can run any business in the world. I think he can be any coach or any kind of team, because he's just very consistent in what he does. And there's a standard, there's a way we do things, and it's not going to change again for Drake May. It's not going to change for our fourth string running back. So again, I just think we do got the right guy, and it's a great change to see that, and I'm grateful to be a part of it.
incredible stuff. Do you see coaching styles moving in different direction over the old school way based on
Oh yeah,
talent, based on, sometimes, back in the day, you say, 2-a-days, that doesn't exist anymore, right? 2-a-days,
no.
you maybe not give them water or something. They were punished and things like that. How have you seen things change? Because here in trading, there's an old school way that was much more cutthroat, if you will. Things are kind of swinging back towards the traders. And are you seeing something similar when you're dealing with the elite, the best of the best? How have things changed over the course of time from your experience?
Yeah, I've been coaching for 15 years now, right? So,
Okay.
I started when I was 21, 22 years old, and now I'm 36. So I've been coaching for 15. It's been a drastic change.
Oh,
I even when I started coaching, you can still, you still dog cuss a player and it'd be okay. You can still be really hard on them,
mhm.
run a bunch after practice. And now with these players, a lot of it's the why, right? A lot of you got to show them why we're doing this, why we're doing that, why we're doing this. They're a lot smarter, in my opinion, than they were
Mhm.
15 years ago than I was. Like they understand at an early age, because they're watching YouTube videos or watching all kinds of things. They know what it looks like, and they want to know the why I'm doing this drill, why I'm doing that. And so you got to be really good and detailed in your work. And I think that's the biggest thing, because they're not just going to listen to you. They're going to want to see proof of why, what I'm coaching and why I'm doing it. And also, these guys are
Yeah.
getting paid in college now with NIL. I mean, they're getting paid. They're coming in already.
Yep.
Some guys have already made eight, ten
Big
million
man on
dollars.
campus.
Yeah, the big man on campus, they made $10 million their senior year. They're coming in. They just took a pay cut, and now they're trying to prolong their career. And how am I going to do it and help them? They want to know the why, and I'm okay
So
with that.
will
I kind
they?
of like that. I like that they're smarter. I do like that they're smarter now.
That's yeah, fair enough. Will they ask you why? I mean, will they just be point blank like, Coach, why the hell are we doing this? Or do you preempt it with that? Do you tell them the whys right out of the gate, or do you wait for them to ask? Because you're in trading. Sometimes coaching styles change, markets change, and we need to adapt. And they will ask why. Do they challenge you when they ask you the
Oh
why?
yeah,
It's like, Coach Springer, what the hell are you doing? Why the hell are we doing this? And
dude.
will they ask you
I
directly,
said
or
it
they,
earlier. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I said earlier, right? My meetings are clear, concise, detailed, and direct.
Mhm.
So when I do that, there's an objective for my meeting, okay, and then there's the why behind it. Like this is the objective. This is what we're trying to learn today, and I'm going to show them how we're going to learn that and why we're going to learn it. Okay, and then they got to be able to tell me back. They're the direct part of it, right? They got to be able to tell me. There's a lot of questions in my meetings, a lot of giving back. And I just think when you do that and you have a system for how you do meetings, it's going to give them the why. It's going to give them the reason why we're doing it. And if they have questions, well, then I'll have that detailed part up.
Good stuff. We are being joined by special teams coordinator of the New England Patriots, Jeremy Springer, in the house here on TopstepTV. Thank you so much for joining us, my man. Let's get to know you a little bit. What are you most proud of in your coaching career thus far? I know it's a bit of a softball, and then I'll ask you the flip side, but what are you most proud of up until this point?
You know what? I'm just been proud of the journey that I've been on so far. I think life's a process, and I've been, 7 or 8 different places now in my career, and
Yeah.
every place is really I got to meet new people, build new friendships, develop my personal self, my ego, my non-ego. I've learned a lot throughout that time, and I've been grateful for that. And even now living in the Northeast, grateful for the summertime and the springtime because the winters suck. So I'm
Mhm.
like, hey, this is really nice, and just all the
Yeah.
things that come with moving, come with the process, meet new people. That's what's been really good in my career so far.
Good stuff. What's it like dealing with diva athletes? They're getting paid I was gonna say they're getting paid a ton of money, and you know what? They're just not feeling it this day. Sometimes our traders are making a bunch of money, and they think they know what's best. And you know what? Hey, numbers don't lie. How do you deal with that? I mean, what do you do when it's coach like, nah, coach, I'm just not feeling that right now? How do you make them
The-
see the light?
I've done it
What do
two
you?
ways.
Yeah,
Sometimes I
hit
talk
me.
shit to them. I talk shit to them, and
Huh?
sometimes they like that, and they'll get their shit going. Or
Uh huh.
sometimes I'll let them be a diva, and then I'll bring them in my office, and that's a connection part. I have a connection with the guys already. Bring them in my office, like, come on, dog, what are you doing, man? You making us? What are you doing right now? Like,
Uh huh.
this is not professional. So there's ways to handle it. I think there's two different ways. It just depends on your relationship with the guy and what he's doing. Also, I coach special teams, so
Yeah.
the Drake Mays, the Stephon Diggs, they ain't playing for me. So there's some of those guys I don't have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, and some of our other coaches got to deal with those guys if they're being divas. But so far, I haven't ran into a bunch of that just because I think I've been around some good guys, and I think the connection part is the most important, which they've been able to trust me.
How important is confidence in yourself for the player and the coach? Hell, I mean, you see the headlines. Maybe you're not reading them, but I'm sure you get the whispers and they get fed back to you. When you're feeling the heat, you got to believe in yourself. Do you or the players, you guys ever question yourselves? Like, am I doing this right? Could things be better? When confidence is shaken, because trading here, it's easy for confidence to be shaken, and you start start questioning yourself, saying, am I cut out for this? What do you do? What can we tell our traders to keep believing yourself when confidence is shaken?
Yeah, I mean that
What
we
do you
can
do?
so relate on that, right? I mean, when you're having bad days, when you put so much time into a practice or a game, and then you lose or you get your ass kicked, you
Yeah.
get humbled. Those are things that happen to me all the time still. And the biggest thing is I always kind of fall back to what I do daily, my routine. I'm going to work out in the morning to take away the anxiety. I'll
Mhm.
meditate at night to
Mhm.
just kind of accept the day and be grateful. Those are like things for me, right?
Yeah.
And I just think at the end of the day, I'm exactly where I need to be. So failure is okay. I'm okay with failing, and you got to be okay with that and say, all right, I failed today. I had a shitty day,
Yeah.
bad practice. We're 0-4 right now. Accept it. Know that you're exactly where you need to be and learn from it. Have that growth mindset, and like you can't have a mindset where you want to win every time, because you win every time, you don't know how to lose. You don't know how to fail. So I'm okay with that, and I know it's a part of a process my entire life. It's never going to stop. So I just try to keep things in perspective and kind of move
Uh-huh.
on from there.
Man, oh man, Jeremy Springer joining us. Quick, tell us about the New England Patriots. Where are you guys in the season right now? Obviously, the draft just came and went.
Yeah.
You guys got rookies in camp right now, I do believe. Tell us how we're looking for. We got a bunch of people in New England right now watching. They're absolutely loving this stuff. So tell us, how is the team going to look this year? Don't give me the cliche
You know
shit
what?
either. Don't give me the cliche shit either.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real with this. So, since Vrabel's gotten here, and I keep looking at when you say players, I have this personnel board right here, so I just keep looking at all the new names right
Can we
there
see
that
it?
we're gonna have.
You show us the depth chart. You show us the depth chart right now.
It's not. There's no depth chart. Yeah, there's no depth
Okay.
chart. It's just a roster of guys right here, and for what Vrabel's done in a short time that he's been here, the players that he's brought in to back up Drake May, our quarterback that we drafted last year, and then on the defensive side, the guys he signed, and then our draft that we just had, which
kicker,
I was
right?
really excited about. Really, really excited about. What you say?
You guys drafted a kicker, correct? Rookie kicker?
Yeah, we drafted a kicker and a long snapper. We drafted two
and a
guys.
long snapper. Okay, that's very unusual. That's unusual. How much
happened.
pressure is this kicker going to be on? I mean, he's going to be under.
Hey, there's only 32 kickers in the world, so there's a lot of pressure.
Hell yeah, there is.
Only 32.
Okay.
There's only 32 of them in the world. That's it.
And I'll talk about this. So kicker is kind of like a solo position. It's kind of like a solo sport individual, if you will. Obviously, you need the snap and the hold, things like that. But it's mental. They obviously have the leg. What are the characteristics that make the kicker your kind of guy? Obviously, they got the big leg. They're unflappable. What, like, they can handle failure? Like, what did you guys look at this the kicker and say, you know what, this kid's ready for the big leagues? What'd you see?
Well, he's got to make kicks, right? Everyone's like, oh, no shit, right? Well, yeah. Well, he's got to make kicks consistently over a career. And our guy that we brought in from Miami was about 90% over 4 years. He had a damn good career in Miami, kicked in a lot of big-time football games. The second thing is he really kicking in real environments, right? Like, is he kicking in with 80,000 people or is he kicking with 10 people in the stands? Like, I want a guy that's been through the fire because he's going to be through the fire here when he's playing Gillette, when there's 90,000 people when you're playing on CBS. So that kind of thing is there. Then I look at the different traits, which I'm not going to get too much into, but like the ball flight, the ball rotation, the height that it gets off his leg, those are important things. Well, I think one of the most important, it's very, very undersold, is what kind of guy is he? Is he kind of like a guy who's, and I say this, not being mean, but a specialist in a way where he has no friends on the team. He's kind of hidden. We've all seen those kickers and his long snappers that are kind of different, that kind of hang off to the side. Or is he kind of like an athlete? Did he play sports in high school? Did he do some things in college? Who were his best friends in college? Were they linebackers and tight ends, or were they just specialists? Is his girlfriend good looking? Is he a competitor? Those are the things that I look for right there. Like, there's a lot of different things I like to see, and I think those things are important right there. And it's a whole collective, and I think we got the right guy from Miami to do that.
It's
and
more than just what happens.
I don't mean to cut you off, but you let me finish the last thing. I think we're going to be really good this year. I really do.
Of course, you're going to say that.
Hey, no, I'm serious. Like, we're out with our team right now, our veterans in phase 2 of the offseason. Our rookies come in next week. Mm-hmm. We're just looking at our team right now. We have good size, length. We got a good quarterback. The pieces that we brought in free agency, I really do think we're going to be much better than we were last year. And I'm really, really, really excited for the future.
Man, Jeremy Springer, special teams coordinator of the New England Patriots, man. Thank you so much for giving us and being so generous with your time. A lot of insight, looking for our kind of guy. We're looking for our kind of trader here at Topstep, man. Coach, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. If you have time, can you join us again, maybe in the summer, and just talk about this again? You're the man.
In the summer would be great. Don't give me during football season, though.
Hell yeah, you're busy. You're busy, man. One of the best right here, Jeremy Springer. Ty says what's up, by the way. We'll get out of here. Thank you so much. TopstepTV. We got meat coming up here on the other side of this. Coach Jeremy Springer in the house, only on TopstepTV. Let's take a quick break. Turn it over to got meat in the green room. Coach, thank you so much. This is TopstepTV. Let's go. Where else do you get this stuff?